Namaste. In today's module, we will go a step further to understand arts-based therapies. How are the arts used in counseling and therapy? A quick recap before we go further. Do you remember what we said last time? First, the purpose of arts is generally entertainment. When we use the arts with the intention of healing, it is therapy. It is no more used for mere entertainment. It is an experiential process where we are participating in the arts and using the arts to benefit ourselves. Let's do a small exercise to reflect here. Think of a song that tells you something about life. Any song, Hindi, Marathi, your native tongue. There are plenty of them in our films or in other forms of music. Got it? What does your song say? For example, I got Zindagi kaisi hai peheli hai. Does it ring a bell? Doesn't the song talk to us in some way? And that's why we like it, right? Yes. So, generally, when we engage with music, drama, painting or dance, what do we gain? What are the benefits? Pause and think for yourself first. First and foremost, engagement with the arts makes us feel good. Second, it teaches us some skills. If we are engaged in the art, playing music, moving to dance steps, reciting a poem with good voice, playing a character by acting as if we were somebody else, we develop and play with some basic skills of body, movement, voice, painting, imagination and so on. So, second thing that the engagement with the arts brings to us is some good skills. And third, but not the least, we start seeing things differently. Think of a painting or a book or a story that has made you think about life or situations differently. This, the last part, is the understanding or insight that we derive from the arts. I'll share a small story with you. It's a story of the famous Sufi saint Mullah Nasruddin. Once upon a time, Mullah Nasruddin and his friend, they were traveling in the desert. And in the deserts in between there are sarayas. Sarayas are these tea shops where you get milk and tea and so on and so forth. So, both of them reached a saraya, and between the two friends, Mullah Nasruddin and his friend, they only had enough money to buy one glass of milk. So, they bought the glass of milk and kept it between the two of them. Now, Mullah Nasruddin's friend had a small piece of sugar with him. So, he said to Mullah, Mullah, you drink up your half. I am going to put this small piece of sugar in my half. Mullah said, Arey fellow, put in the whole glass, both of us will get. The friend said, no, no, can't you see, it's only little, it won't taste so good. You drink your half, in my half I am putting sugar. Mullah Nasruddin, being a Sufi teacher, prankster, he got up, he got some salt and he came back and declared, okay, I have decided to put some salt in my half of the milk. Now, this is how stories suddenly open up our perception. You remember right from school times, we are all very convinced this half is yours, this half is mine, our divisions, our ideas of things are clear. But in life, things don't really work like that all the time. That is why stories, songs, drama, music, it gives us a different perception of things. Since stories that I am telling you here represent all art forms, we know that arts can make us see things differently in a matter of a moment. Say for example, once upon a time there was a monk who dreamt that he was a butterfly. Then he woke up and he said, am I a monk who was dreaming that he was a butterfly, or am I a butterfly who is dreaming that he is a monk? Arts allow us to question, to imagine, to have alternatives, and to let things go and to move on. There could be many more and other benefits of the arts that we can think of, right from the brain stimulation that we receive to expression of the deepest and hidden emotional layers. So, we should remember, when we are using arts in counseling or arts as therapy, we are not mere recipients or consumers of ready-made artistic creation, but we are active participants engaging with the arts and playful creators. Then and then only it can help us as a therapeutic process. We use the power of the arts as positive engagement with the client. Using body movement, songs, stories, drama, we help by together traveling to the heart of the issue that they may have and enable them to get insight about it or build active strategies to deal with the issues that they are facing. Let's now look at one very powerful model of the arts as therapy developed right here in India. It is called the ABT, Arts Based Therapy Model. First, a little bit of background. In Pune, there is an NGO called WCCL, World Center for Creative Learning Foundation. It was founded in 2001 by a small group of artists, therapists and counselors. They wanted to harness the power of the arts for therapy. They were all trained in the West in therapeutic use of music and drama and such. But as they started working here in India, in de-addiction, in disability, in mental health, they realized that Western approaches in India had a limitation. Especially in the arts, there were cultural differences, different stories, different methods, different songs and different theoretical framework was necessary. Also, in India, very few artists that time, if any, wanted to do the work of therapy. Why would artists who are trained for performers want to be working in social work, therapy and counseling? On the other hand, counselors, psychologists and therapists who were doing this work did not have artistic training or tools at their disposal. To bridge this gap, WCCL Foundation started the first ever ABT, Arts Based Therapy training in India. It was called the ABT Certificate Course. It was only for qualified professionals working in the field of therapy and social work. The development of ABT is a result of an interesting confluence of certain uniquely Indian things. This unique Indian thing is the theoretical base of ABT. The most unique thing about it is that the theoretical framework that supports and enables a counselor or therapist the use of arts in therapy are grounded in Buddhist psychology. The study of the mind is and has been the most ancient occupation, even obsession with Indians. Many Western universities and academics have turned to this source, the ancient Indian systematic study of mind, and even researching its correlates with brain functioning. The ABT model uses this framework to understand the mind taught by Siddhartha Gautama in its intricate detail, along with modern developmental and neurological studies. This is how ABT took shape. Another interesting confluence in ABT you will find is coming together of all the art forms. In the West, art therapies are divided as drama therapy, music therapy, dance movement therapy and such. In India, instead of specialization in one art form like drama or dance and doing therapy solely based on that, the ABT model trained counselors and psychologists in generic vocabulary of all art forms, music, drama, visual arts. This was done for a few reasons. First, all art forms actually lean and support each other. Singing leads to story, story leads to acting, and painting or visual arts are very much part of this process. Artists also often cross these boundaries all the time. If you think of traditional Chitrakathi or puppetry, you can easily recognize this. Also, in the tradition of Natya Shastra, which is the true Indian tradition, art forms very easily come together and coexist with each other. This is how art forms come together. Second, therapists and counselors find it useful to learn the basics of all art forms and use them in their work instead of specialization in any one art form. Third, it is important to recognize the client needs. Depending on the client and their special needs and abilities, one can switch between the medium, between different art forms and methods. For example, children with autism will find music easier to relate with in the beginning. Likewise, in de-addiction, drumming helps, stories help, then you can go to another form. Whereas in palliative care, when people are dealing with end of life issues, stories and painting are much more useful. Thus, ABT brings all the art forms together instead of breaking them into narrow specializations. So, depending on the client's needs and preferences, one could access artistic tools. So, now let us look at this systematic use or definition of ABT. When all these factors come together and they are used systematically, consistently, focusing on specific therapeutic goals and aims, then the use of the arts can be called therapy. WCCL Foundation defines ABT as systematic use of the art forms to address specific individualized therapeutic goals. Some of these references you will find in the reference sections as well as in the links. Remember, it remains a powerful, accessible and complementary tool in therapy and counseling when arts are used in this way. WCCL Foundation developed the unique Indian vocabulary to use the arts in therapy and focused on systematic action research and published the outcomes or results of the work between 2001 and 2020. This approach has now taken roots and is well established in India. For more information about ABT, about WCCL Foundation, about ABT training, please see the links accompanying these modules. You will find many resources, videos, books and more material about ABT in all these links. So friends, this was a very brief overview of how ABT developed in India with unique Indian theoretical base and approach. Next time, we will look at drama therapy and play therapy as forms of arts-based therapies. Till then, goodbye and good luck.